A last-minute change to tonight's show brings us to the major breaking news. The police investigation into Angela Rayner now extends beyond electoral law violations and encompasses multiple allegations. Reports emerging this evening reveal that Rayner is at the heart of a growing political storm. What initially seemed like a routine administrative decision has spiraled into a full-blown controversy, involving accusations of election interference, legal battles, and even courtroom drama. So how did we arrive at this point, and more importantly, what does it mean for democracy in the UK? Before diving in, a quick favor: if you enjoy this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing, and your support helps us continue bringing you the stories that matter. Authorities are reportedly investigating tax matters and other issues alongside claims that Rayner may have provided false information for the electoral register while living between two former council houses in Stockport during the 2010s. The UK's political climate remains unpredictable, and now, the Deputy Prime Minister finds herself at the centre of a controversy that has all the hallmarks of a major scandal. The issue? A decision to postpone local elections in 9 council areas. Initially perceived as a procedural move, it has since raised serious concerns about electoral integrity and potential political manipulation. New reports indicate that Greater Manchester Police's investigation into Rayner is not limited to electoral law violations under the Representation of the People Act. This is significant because such offences typically need to be registered and investigated within a year. However, with additional issues in question, such as capital gains tax, there may be no statute of limitations on the matter. Rayner's announcement of the election postponement has sparked outrage. The government maintains that the move is purely procedural, aimed at restructuring local authorities. Yet, opposition leaders, legal experts, and even some within her own party are skeptical. They argue this isn't about governance but a calculated attempt to stall Reform UK's growing momentum. The Labour government, without a manifesto commitment, is implementing sweeping changes to local government, and critics believe this is being used as justification to cancel elections. Over half of Britain's county councils have now agreed to delay elections, citing these changes as the reason. The key question remains: was this decision genuinely about improving local governance, or was it a strategic manoeuvre to suppress opposition gains? The government argues that the delay is necessary to streamline local governance by shifting from a two-tier system to unitary authorities. However, critics suggest that the postponement disproportionately affects areas where Reform UK was gaining traction, raising doubts about the government's true motives. Tensions escalated when Rayner announced in Parliament that the elections, originally scheduled for May, would be postponed until 2026. The official explanation pointed to a large-scale overhaul of local councils, but skepticism remains. Local elections are a pillar of UK democracy, allowing citizens to have a say in decisions affecting their communities. The abrupt postponement, without a clear justification, has left many questioning whether this was a genuine administrative necessity or a calculated political strategy. Critics wasted no time in calling out the suspicious timing, leading to immediate backlash. Imagine if Nigel Farage were Prime Minister and Reform UK, having swept into power, suddenly announced the cancellation of elections. The move would undoubtedly spark outrage. With elections delayed in areas where Reform UK was gaining ground, over 5 million voters across England are now left waiting. Many argue that this strikes at the very heart of democracy, preventing the public from making their voices heard. Reform UK was on the verge of a breakthrough, particularly in Essex and Thurrock, where polls indicated they could win their first ever council seats. Now, that opportunity has been indefinitely postponed, raising concerns about the fairness of the electoral process. Critics also point out the perceived double standard. Labour previously accused the Conservative government of corruption and cronyism, yet now stands accused of its own political manoeuvring. The impact of this decision is far-reaching. This isn't merely about shifting election dates. It's a move that could reshape the political landscape. Reform UK had been gaining significant momentum, particularly in areas like Essex, where local support was surging. Delaying these elections may have robbed them of a crucial chance to demonstrate their political strength. Essex and Thurrock had become key battlegrounds, and recent polls suggested Reform UK had a real shot at securing local government representation. Angela Rayner has defended her decision, insisting that it was based on logistical concerns rather than political motives. She claimed that the government reviewed all postponement requests and only approved half of them, emphasizing that elections should proceed unless there was a compelling reason to delay. But was this justification enough to override citizens' fundamental right to vote? Nigel Farage isn't convinced and has openly criticized the move, calling it a direct assault on democracy. He argues that the delay is a deliberate attempt to prevent Reform UK from gaining ground. Notably, of the 9 councils affected, all but one were under Conservative control, and many were expected to see substantial Reform UK gains. Farage insists this decision isn't about improving governance but about protecting establishment parties from a growing challenger. This postponement has raised further concerns among political analysts and polling experts. Lord Hayward, a Conservative peer, suggested that the move was a strategic attempt to stifle Reform UK's progress. Thurrock, in particular, was seen as an ideal launching pad for the party, given its historical right-wing leanings. Now, many within Reform UK wonder whether they will ever get another opportunity in such a key area. The controversy doesn't end there. Conservative MP Kevin Henry has raised concerns in Parliament, accusing Rayner's restructuring efforts of centralising power rather than eliminating the two-tier system. Instead of devolving authority, he argues, the Labour government is consolidating control, reducing local government's independence and limiting the public's ability to hold officials accountable. As if the political firestorm wasn't enough, Rayner is now facing legal challenges, with reports suggesting she appeared visibly shaken in court proceedings. Reform UK has called for the immediate reinstatement of elections, warning that democracy itself is at risk when a government suppresses the people's right to vote. For Reform UK, this isn't just about political strategy, it's about ensuring a fair democratic process. Public opinion remains divided. Some see the delay as necessary for stability and restructuring, while others view it as a direct attack on democracy. Meanwhile, Reform UK is experiencing an unprecedented surge in popularity, reaching a record 29% in the polls, surpassing Labour at 25% and leaving the Conservatives trailing at 18%. Reform UK chairman, Zia Yaf, described this shift as a game-changer, marking the first time Conservative support has dropped below 20%. This suggests a possible political realignment, signalling a significant shift in UK politics. With Reform UK now overtaking Labour in key polls and the Conservatives facing historic lows, the stakes have never been higher. The legal battle against Rayner's decision could force the government to reconsider its stance, but the outcome remains uncertain. As court proceedings unfold, this political saga is likely to bring more unexpected developments. For Reform UK, this moment of heightened political tension could serve as a springboard for further growth, potentially reshaping the UK's political landscape in ways never seen before. So what's your take? Was the election delay justified, or was it an outright attack on democracy? Do you think Reform UK will continue its rise, or will the government succeed in curbing its momentum? Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more in-depth political analysis. See you in the next one. Angela Rayner, the deputy leader of the Labour Party, is now at the centre of a heated legal battle, facing allegations of abusing her power to prevent Reform UK from gaining electoral momentum. The controversy erupted when claims surfaced that Rayner had taken steps to obstruct the party's ability to contest elections fairly, sparking outrage from Reform UK supporters and raising concerns about the integrity of democratic processes. The court case has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, with critics accusing her of using her influence to manipulate election rules in favour of the Labour Party. Reform UK, which has been steadily growing in support, has long argued that the establishment seeks to silence alternative voices, and this legal challenge appears to reinforce that claim. Many political analysts believe that if the allegations hold weight, it could deal a significant blow to Rayner's political career and tarnish Labour's reputation at a critical time. As the legal proceedings unfold, Reform UK leaders have been vocal in their condemnation of what they perceive as political interference. Nigel Farage, the party's honorary president, has criticised the alleged actions, stating that blocking political opponents from standing in elections is an affront to democracy. Reform UK leader Richard Tice has also called for a full investigation, claiming that Rayner's actions, if proven, represent a dangerous precedent where those in power can suppress opposition parties. The case has led to widespread debate about the fairness of Britain's electoral system, with some arguing that established parties wield too much influence over who can and cannot participate in elections. On the other hand, Labour officials have dismissed the accusations as a politically motivated attack designed to weaken Rayner's credibility. They argue that the allegations are exaggerated and part of a broader effort by Reform UK to paint themselves as victims of a corrupt system. The case has drawn attention from legal experts and constitutional scholars, many of whom are questioning whether the courts should be involved in what is fundamentally a political dispute. Some legal analysts believe that while the accusations against Rayner may carry political weight, proving them in a court of law will be a far greater challenge. Others, however, argue that if there is any evidence that electoral procedures were manipulated or unfairly influenced, then the courts have a duty to intervene. Regardless of the legal outcome, the controversy has already cast a shadow over Rayner's leadership position and raised uncomfortable questions for Labour about its approach to dealing with political opponents. If Reform UK can successfully prove that its ability to contest elections was hindered, the party could gain a surge of public sympathy, bolstering its campaign efforts ahead of the next general election. The political fallout from the case is likely to be significant, with both Labour and Reform UK using it to rally their respective supporters. For Labour, the challenge will be to defend Rayner without alienating voters who may already be sceptical of the party's handling of political competition. For Reform UK, the case presents an opportunity to further position itself as an anti-establishment force fighting against a rigged system. The outcome of the court proceedings could have lasting implications for British politics, shaping public perception of both parties and influencing future debates about electoral fairness. As the case develops, all eyes will be on the courtroom, where the battle between political power and democratic integrity is set to unfold.